Hello, everyone. This is Mike Yurigan with Brevard. We're here at the Habitat today, and I have Mr. Stephen Proctor here with me, our chairman of our nonprofit. And we've got a few things to share with you. And Stephen?
Thank you, Mike. It's great to be here. I wanted to speak to you today because this month marks a huge milestone for Golf Brevard with the completion of the irrigation project here at the Habitat. I wanted to let all of you know that the project has been paid for by Golf Brevard completely in cash, and that in spite of having done that, our financial position remains quite strong going into the remainder of this year. And for that, we have all of you to thank, our loyal customers who continued to come out and play at the Habitat, and of course at Spessard, Holland also, during this rather disruptive period of adding irrigation to the golf course. I know there's been a lot of days I myself was frustrated to come out and find so many holes affected, but we've all hung in there, and now we've reached a really important day for the long-term future of the golf course with a state-of-the-art irrigation system and soon a new pumping station that should last us for at least 30 years. So we have a lot to look forward to going into the future. Now that we have this project behind us, we're going to turn our attention to the next really major project on our agenda, which is the replacement of the greens at Spessard Holland Golf Course. If everything works out perfectly, we hope to be able to undertake that project next summer, in the summer of 2024. That is a tall order in a couple of senses. One is that, obviously having now just spent $1.6 million, we will need to rebuild our financial position to a similar level of strength before we undertook that project, because the Spessard project will be equally expensive, if not more so. I also wanted to let all golfers know, and to be planning in advance, that the Spessard project will be significantly more disruptive than the project at the Habitat. When you're doing an irrigation project, you can close a single hole at a time or simply a few holes at a time and get the project quite quickly done, as we did here at the Habitat. When you undertake to restore greens, especially greens like those at Spessard that are very seriously contaminated with grasses that you don't want, in our case paspalum grass, you need to have greens closed for an extended period of time so that you can dig down deep into the surface, make sure you've gotten rid of all the contamination before you go through the trouble and expense of placing new grass on the green and letting it grow in for players to enjoy again for probably another 30-year period. So the board will have a lot to think about in terms of how to proceed on that project, whether or not to try to go forward with 18 temporary greens or to close the golf course or whatever. Our inclination obviously will be to keep golf open at Spessard because it's such an important part of the community there. I myself spend an awful lot of time over there, and I know everybody who plays there wants to be able to continue to have that part of their life. We will probably have to find some creative ways to keep it fun on temporary greens, and obviously address some of the price issues that naturally will come to mind for players who have purchased a membership or simply buy golf day by day. Obviously, we will need to be looking at that as a board and deciding what's fair and what's best for the golf course going forward. So we will be immediately undertaking that. And the last thing that I wanted to speak with you about briefly today is membership on the board. We have a very strong board at the moment, but we are always looking to add new members and to replace members who've done their service and would like to move on to another thing. So board membership requires meeting once a month and oftentimes undertaking projects on behalf of the board. We are very interested in players who are dedicated to the Habitat in the Spessard, and especially those who might have a special skill that would be useful on the board. One of those that we need is the skill of a lawyer. The board does not presently have a lawyer, and obviously when you're engaged in contracts with the county, contracts with vendors, it's often helpful to have legal advice at hand without having to go and pay someone to provide it for you. So if you have an interest in joining the board, I strongly encourage you to write me. It's s.proctor@brevard.golf, and then I will reach out to you and explain to you in further detail what board service requires, and we can decide whether you might be interested or be a good fit for the board at Spessard Holland. But mostly today, I just wanted to thank everyone for the incredible support we've had since the very beginning of the Golf Brevard project when we hired Mike several years ago now, and the fact that it has put us in this financial position to be able to make these improvements at Habitat and be very excited about doing the same thing in the future at Spessard, Holland. And also, I would remind people that our long-term future probably also includes replacing the greens here at the Habitat as brilliantly as they play now. No green lasts forever. All these greens are quite old, and at some point we will new greens here too. So we will be counting on all of you out there to continue supporting your local golf courses and coming to join the board and helping us succeed going forward, because in a way that it has never been before, we now are the owners of these golf courses through the nonprofit that is Golf Brevard, which exists solely to preserve public golf in Brevard County for future generations and to keep it affordable. So thank you for everything you've done to make that successful. We look forward to a bright future, and we hope you'll continue to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Proctor, and we'll be having some more videos coming your way with some more great teaching sides that from your golf pro here, Mike. And he's I already got in trouble for my hair this morning, so just want you all to know we're having a great time here. We appreciate Stephen and the board and what they've allowed us to do, and allowing the staff to go to that next level and make golf fun for all of you. Thank you again, and we'll see you soon.